Syria's war is now a battle for bread. They've lost their homes, jobs, dignity, and survive on UN handouts. Ahmad has to feed 16 children and grandchildren. They used to live in Muadamiyah. It's now held by the rebels, cut off by the government.
My brother, sisters, friends are still there. They can't leave and they don't have any food.
This is Yarmouk. It's also been under siege for months. The BBC managed to obtain these pictures. Markets with only radishes for sale. And in these pictures, starving people march towards military checkpoints, calling for the siege to end. This is the response. Food is a weapon in this war. But now the government tells us they'll finally let UN aid through.
We have spoken to Valerie, Mrs. Amos, and we have told her there will be more access, more cooperation, particularly after the new achievements by the Syrian armed forces.
So does that mean you are only allowed aid to reach those areas where your forces have prevailed militarily?
No, I can assure you it will go to all Syrians who are in need.
The government blames rebels for the siege. This week, rebel commanders across the suburbs made an urgent plea for help. This is their pledge to protect aid convoys and ensure relief reaches civilians. Confidential UN documents leaked to the BBC show the scale of this crisis. 2.5 million Syrians are now stuck in besieged or hard-to-reach areas. 250,000 are under siege by government troops, tens of thousands by rebel forces.
It's a huge crisis.
We asked the UN if they believe this will now change.
I had asked that the United Nations could go to all areas of Syria as I had requested. So the team here will explore exactly what that means in terms of our ability to go to the hard-to-reach areas and the besieged areas too.
Do you really believe this promise?
This has very much been one of the priorities for us. If we are able to get to those areas, and indeed in my conversation with the Foreign Minister and with the Deputy Foreign Minister, they said that they would work with us to ensure that people were reached.
The government's promise comes as it makes military gains. Hijira was a stronghold of rebels linked to al-Qaeda. The government insists this is a war against terrorism, and their confidence grows that the West will eventually accept that. Any breakthrough to ease the suffering of Syrian civilians is welcome. But to end the humanitarian crisis and the gross abuses of humanitarian law, it will take a political solution. And a breakthrough of that kind is nowhere in sight. Lise Doucette, BBC News, Damascus.